I went up to the convention, the California Democratic Party convention, to lobby. I took a 6-hour bus ride up, and I did go to my local assemblyman's office and spoke to his legislative director there. And I also was at the rally and the march, which we actually took from the Capitol over to the convention center. And I was there as a volunteer, for SB 562, because I believe that is a good representation of healthcare justice, which, everything's about healthcare right now because it rightly should be, because we're all at jeopardy right now. I met Margot Tannenbaum, AKA Emma, and there they wanted to go find Speaker Rendon at his reception that he was having at a local restaurant. It was an open thing. And Margot said, we should go and speak to him about SB 562 because he's going to have an important role once it hits the assembly. It was in the Senate at the time. We walked over, and eventually we did see that he was on the patio. On our way there, we met with Amy Slovick, who just happened to be there, and she's a nurse. And I said, hey, we're going to go and speak to Speaker Rendon about SB 562 and try to get his support. And, would you like to come along? And she's like, yeah, I'm there. I'm there. So we all went over to him to speak with him. And I believe he was with one staffer. I don't know if there was any other, if guys remember if there was any other. I believe there was one female staffer with him at that point. We said hello and, greeted him, this and that. So Margot was the first to speak and basically say that, we are there to ask him for support for SB 562.
When she asked him for that support about 562, he said, which one is that?
Yeah, he did. He said, which one is that right away. And it was very sarcastic and very he's the Speaker of the House. How can he not know about this? It was the topic of everybody's conversation at that convention, I believe. It was one of the biggest topic there. So
I jumped in and I said, it's the one about single payer, Medicare for all, single payer. And then he went off then about, I've been for single payer for over 20 years, my whole career. And
yeah, he said that he was for single payer and that he'd always been for single payer, and he was a proponent of single payer and, on and on and on.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but right before that, I said to him, oh, great. So we can count on you for your support.
And I believe he said at that point, well, I don't sign or endorse any bills until it basically is in front of me and on the floor, that kind of thing. So, but I am a proponent, and he just went on about it, for single payer, not the bill, but single payer. Okay. And SB 562 is a single payer model. I wasn't confident that he would vote vote in favor of SB 562. And the reason I did that was because just recently there had been an interview with Speaker Rendon, I believe it was the SAC-B, that said he didn't believe that it was now was the time for a single payer model to be pushed forward. And so I wanted to kind of say that to him. It's like, this is the reason why, but I wasn't able to even get that out. Because at that moment, he became very defensive and aggressive and just got right into my face. He just came right into my personal, space and just began to you don't know me as a politician. You don't know I've been for single payer for 20 years. And I was really taken aback because I was like, I didn't want to, offend this man or in any way. I just really wanted to, tell him, what I believed and why I believed it. And he just basically got into my face. And at that point, he just said, well, how long have you been active in politics? And I was like, I believe I'm probably a lot older than you. I don't know how old he is, but I might be at least 10 years older than I am. But it didn't matter. So I just was trying, he was talking to me and saying these things, and I was just trying to get out the reason why he didn't have my confidence about how I believed he would vote SB 562. And at that particular moment, one of his, I think, staffers, it was a young man, but he grabbed my arm And I said, don't grab my arm. And he said, I can do anything I want to get you out of Speaker Rendon's way. And I was like,
he didn't say, excuse me, that would have helped.
yeah. I mean, there was a conversation, even though it was heightened conversation at that particular
You were not blocking him. You were talking. You were not yelling. You were not being aggressive. He was towering over you. He was very animated. He was yelling.
Yeah. And I was like, and then at that point, Speaker Rendon actually said to, no, don't grab her. Let her go, go like that. And I guess they whisked him off, and I don't know where they went, but I was pretty shaken up. I felt really intimidated. And I know people said I cried at that particular point. I didn't. I think I was tearing up because I was just really stunned. I couldn't actually believe that this happened. I mean, we were there as advocates for SB 562, which, in my mind is the right thing to do by everybody in California, and the nation. And yeah, I was really stunned. I was intimidated. I was a little scared. I went back to the convention center and went to the nurses' booth, and then I just lost it. I just started crying because I was just like, oh, I hope I didn't, and I didn't even think of it as personal. I mean, I didn't think of it as personal. I didn't, at that point, I was like all these emotions were rushing over me. And I was like, oh my God, did I mess something up for this bill? That was my friend. I wouldn't want to do that. I'm like, this is important to so many people.
And you said nothing that was inappropriate or rude or anything to him. But, the other thing about it is with the kind of reaction he had, I feel like when you go into a reception, I am a delegate for the party. I was there. I was invited there. It came out through it saying, this is an event he's having, delegates, please come visit. I feel like when we go there and we respectfully ask to speak with him, we were not being rude. We were not being challenging. And then to have him flip out like that was so unprofessional. And I think it speaks to the bullying nature that seems to happen, and that I felt as a new delegate coming in to the convention this time, that you either do it our way or we're going to make it really kind of awful for you. And I feel like that's what happened to you.